Okay, so are you ready for this one? This is another car story. I have several car stories. Kind of sad, but I lived through them. God and his angels were watching over me because God has a plan for my life, just like he has a plan for yours. So trust him. So here's this story. I had an old car. It was a Lincoln Mercury Marquis. I think it was a 1980s car. It was also referred to as a lead sled. It had a lot of power. Well, I was driving from Seattle, gone to see my grandmother who was in the hospital, and she had liver cancer. I was driving back, and at the bottom of the road, it was Snoqualmie Pass, actually. It was just raining, and on the way up, it was slushy. Well, I was keeping a steady 70 miles an hour all the way up. And by the time I got to the top, it was freezing. And when I started down the other side, I couldn't slow down. I guess ice and slush had gotten up in the clutch and had frozen, and it wouldn't change the speed. And I started down the mountain, and it was steep and it was icy, and I patted the brake. I'd hold onto the brake, and the car was just driving fast. And you're in the middle of this adventure, and you can't stop, and you're scared to death, and you're just praying for God to help you. And I was thinking, what do I do? And I pulled it out of gear. I thought, oh, if I put it in neutral, it won't go fast. Oh my gosh, that was wrong. The motor was spinning up out of control, and I had to put it back into gear. It's a wonder I didn't blow the motor up. Finally, it must have been a half hour, but I held onto the wheel. I just kept trying to slow down, using the brake. I probably burned out the brakes. But when I got to the bottom, I saw, I think it was a little squirrel pulled over, and I put it in park and just let it sit there spinning, and I went into the little restaurant, and I said, I need some help. My car is stuck at 70 miles an hour, and I don't know what to do. And there were some people there. It must have happened to them at some time. And they said, yeah, what you do is you park it, and you let the engine warm it up, and it will melt the ice, and then you can go. Went back to the car, and sure enough, that's what had happened. As the car was still going, it warmed it up the linkage. I'm not sure it was a clutch. It was the linkage, and I don't even understand that. But that's what I was told. And the car would go again. But that was a very scary time for me. Sometimes in your lives that seem like a total disaster, and you can't get out of it, and you don't feel in control, but God has you. God and his angels are protecting you because your days are numbered by God. You will not go home until it's his time for you to go home. So that's today's message. Trust God, even in the middle of the worst possible things.